What's going on, everybody? It's John again with Grace, Liberty, and the finished work of Jesus Christ. And here we go. Here's the Mirage here in beautiful Las Vegas. And when I mean beautiful, I mean it's beautiful and it's really, really hot. It's like we set records this year for heat. But let's talk about something other than the weather, like Jesus in our next drive-by devotional. All right, so Titus 2:11 and 12. This is a verse you'll hear me quote frequently in relation to grace teaching us right as opposed to the law and religiosity and discipline. Okay? But there is a lot more to this verse. Actually, I've been studying Titus and Titus 2:11 and 12. The grace of God, which has appeared unto all men, teaching us to deny ungodliness and worldly lusts, we should live soberly and righteously in this present world. That was kind of cool, huh? All right, the context. Remember, the key to all Bible studying is context. Okay? So, the context is living an example. Sorry. Long day at work. Living an example to the people around us. Okay, it's not mandatory do this or else you're not righteous. It's not mandatory do this or else you're not going to heaven. It's not that. It's let's live an example of what it means to be Christ so that the world can see. And then it says, the grace of God, which has appeared unto all men, right? In other words, the context is the life we live as an example of Jesus to the world. It should be one of grace, not of religiosity, not of the things that we hate, the things we don't like, the things we don't stand for. It shouldn't be the example we live is, God punishes you, judges you. Because this is the exact opposite, actually, what the verse is saying. Because don't forget, Titus was written for two reasons. One, so that Paul was addressing Titus to raise up leaders within the newly found church over there to help organize the believers, and two, to combat the religious heresy that the Judaizers had brought after Paul left. So in other words, the example that we should be living is grace. The life we should be living so people can see is grace. People are afraid oftentimes to come to church. They're afraid to come to Jesus. They're afraid they're going to be judged, hated, punished, disciplined. And that people are going to look down on them at church. And unfortunately, a lot of times they're not wrong. So, we need to dispel that myth by living a life of grace. Right? It's grace that teaches us to deny ungodliness. That's what it says. Grace. People respond to grace because grace is what teaches them. They don't feel hated or slighted or inferior. They feel important, and they are important. They are super important to Jesus, super important to God. Important enough that they died. He died for them, right? So, with that, thank you for hanging out and driving along with me again. And remember, live a life of grace. Not judgment, punishment, and hate. God bless.